Hi, Assalamualaikum, and hope you are doing good. My name is Izzairi Yamin, and I'm going to talk about humans to machine, the evolution of language. Language plays an important role in communication, and most people, they master 4, 3, 2, or at least one language. 43% in the world speaks at least 2 languages, and 40% speaks 1 language, which is, or you call it monolingual. When I was a kid, my mom always remind me to do my homework and make sure that I study hard all the time so that I pass all my exams. So I need to study and study and study and study, and she will check on me, have you finished up your homework? Have you done your revisions? And she said she wouldn't let me come home if I fail my exams, or she would lock the door. And yes, I failed my exams. So I was locked outside. But eventually that's what parents do. They threaten to lock you out and give you no food. But in the end, parents will always shower their love towards their children, and they want the best for their children. My mom always said to me that it's very hard for me to listen and digest to what she has to say. And she kept mentioning, why on earth is it hard for me to listen and digest to what she has to say? So I gave her a simple answer. I told her, I don't agree to whatever she has to say. It's because I have a better opinion. And she disagreed with what I was saying. So if my mother had programmed and gave instructions to a computer, I bet she would be very happy with the results, as the computer would have listened and obeyed to whatever she had instructed the computer to do. That's how human works, When human communicate with another human, or when a human is given an instruction to another human, you will not get the results that you wanted, When I was growing up, I still remember, I got my first computer. It was an Intel Pentium 2 MMX with 32 megabyte, it's not gigabyte RAM, It was in 1996. And not much I can do with that computer at that time. Plus, with the little knowledge that I know, I can only play games and download pirate music. I'm sure kids nowadays, they wouldn't know what pirate music is. And the famous song that was playing on my mind at that point of time was Cinta IT, Sayang IT, sang by Datuk Siti. And I always admire stories about hackers, programmers, or successful computer entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, or even the new uprising at that point of time was Sergey Brin and Larry Page, who was the Google founders. So with limited sources on search engine, I still remember a few to name, like AOL, American Online, Lycos, Yahoo, and Google was at its very infant stage. Google was born somewhere in 1998, September. So in terms of information, it was very, very limited. In terms of resources, it was very limited. So what happened was that I met a friend, my best buddy, who had the same passion for computers. So we started to discuss and talk about programming, we talk about software, we even talk about hacking websites. In the same time when we were talking about hacking websites, we were not sure whether it was illegal at that point of time. And after a few months of researching, I managed to write my first ever code on HTML. and I wrote "Hello World" and published it on the net. And I was very happy with this little achievement. Yeah, and I know that when I give an instruction to a machine, the machine listens and obeys to whatever I wanted the machine to do. So it got me excited, and I know I can ask the machine to do more. Yeah, and time flies so fast. Now we are in the year of 2022. We've been through challenging times. With these past 2 years, with the global economic downfall, and the pandemic has hit us very, very hard, and there's a lot of people who went jobless. There were many sectors were forced to shut down, and there's many things that were forced to change, and a lot of people got laid off without, they wanting to get laid off, and that was the new norm. So we had to change the way we work. We had to change the way we think and the way we communicate. So, when the pandemic happened, we were so much relying on computers. We were, you cannot run away. If you were working in agriculture, if you were working in entertainment sector, if you're working in a manufacturing sector, it's just all over us, meaning you can't run away from computers. The pandemic has changed and opened up many new doors. Yeah, people, they had to survive, and they had to create new opportunity to contribute back to the economic growth. Whoever imagined that one day singing and dancing on the internet will give you money, right? No one have ever thought of it. Yeah, rock stars used to write songs, used to write lyrics, and producing quality songs, and not many people managed to break through that barrier. Now things has changed. Yeah, we are living in a digitalization world. Everything that you want is at the tips of your fingers. You can now order your favorite food. You can order your favorite dress. You don't have to be physically at the shopping mall. You can just shop online, and you can even do your meetings online without being physically at the place. And the best part is that you can now watch football games anywhere through your mobile phone. In the next few years, you might find it hard to classify what a blue collar and a white collar is. Things are changing rapidly with more complex system, more complex technology that is being built around you. The more software that is being built tends up to open up more opportunity for everyone. We should embark and start talking about seriously about software's development, about technology, and countermeasures by teaching our kids to communicate with the machines and computers more. Kids should be given the chance to instruct computers to do things that they instruct. This will basically help the way they think. The world will be a very challenging place for our kids, with many new innovation and technology that's improving from day to day, every second. In the next few years, you might find it hard to also differentiate from blue collar to white collar, yes, and you will not be able to see people working in petrol stations anymore, or as a cashier worker working in a supermarket. Yeah? So these are the things that you might be looking at, where computers will be taking charge in most of these areas. Robots and artificial intelligence will one day be part of our life, and our kids from now from today will need to be equipped, yeah, with the right knowledge, and most importantly, how to communicate, how can they tell the computer what to do. So I'm going to share a bit how I started and what made me start the development that I didn't thought that it would even be a business that can impact a lot of people. One day, when I wanted to buy batteries for my drone, I placed an online order, and the shopkeeper called me and said, "Oh, sorry, mister, we cannot deliver the batteries according to your time because the courier can only deliver on the next 3 days." So I was thinking, why on earth should I always follow the courier's timing? Why can't the courier follow my timing? So with this, with my little knowledge of telling the computer what to do, and with my little knowledge of telling the machines what needs to be done, I then built a system, yeah, that connects all these freelancers on my platform, where whoever is nearby the pickup point A can just pick the item up and deliver to point B. So I started it as a hobby project.
Farah.
And without realizing it, it became a business model, yeah? And I had another scenario. When I was sitting in a mosque one day, I saw an elderly man. He was waiting for the prayer time. And what happened was that he opened an app, and he wanted to look at the prayer time. But then suddenly there's a lot of intrusive pop-up ads appeared on his phone. So he was so ashamed because the ads was showing non-Sharia compliant ads. So he was ashamed, but too bad I was behind him, so I saw everything. And he tried to hide his phone for 10 seconds. So I was thinking, why is this happening to this man? So probably because he did not subscribe to the premium version, or he's using the free app. So with this, I've built and tell the computer to do an app that has a feature that can help solve this elderly man's problem. And I built this. And without realizing this, I have also solved a bigger problem, and people are now using this app worldwide. And on top of that, I wanted to tell the machine, can you rectify and check if a person who is reading the Quran, reading it correctly? So with this app, it tells you if you're reading it correctly. It can also detect which verse of the Quran and which number of the Quran, and if there's any miswords, and if there's any extra words, and if there's any inaccurate words from your recitation. So what I've done is to tell the machine, so this is the language that's important to move forward in the future, to tell the machines to do what you want the machine to do. So coding is something that can be learned, it can be intimidating, and yes, a lot of things can be intimidating as well. The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You're going to look like you have magical powers compared to everybody else, yeah? So great coders are today's rock stars. Thank you.